Hey folks, let's learn something new about the oil and gas industry. Today we're here with Hewitt, and he has a fascinating story to tell. Good morning, Hewitt.
Glad to meet you, Mark. Thank you for your time.
Yeah, so let's just kind of jump right into it. You started how many years ago out on a rig?
1969. It's been a few years.
Yeah, what was the rigs like in 1969? There's no way they're as safe as they are.
It's a little different world. It's a little different world, but it's pretty luxurious nowadays compared to what it was a few years ago.
Yeah.
No doubt about it.
And so you started on a rig in 1969, and then you end up working yourself through the industry. And what are you doing now?
Well, I'm in the environmental remediation business. We do a lot of work in hydrocarbon remediation and saltwater remediation. That's kind of our unique niche in the business.
Yeah, and something that you do is different. Now, I know there's environmental companies out there. They're all over the board. You're actually a service company that does environmental work, and there's a difference there.
Yep, it is. We kind of evolved to this point. Our business, our unique niche has been to fix the job. And that's what SOS stood for originally, was solutions on site. We were a consulting company designed to go solve the problem on site, not to study it to death, but to go fix it, and to do it at whatever might be the most economical way to do it at the time.
Right. So you do the usual stuff, the testing, the consulting, everything, but your goal, you and your team's goal is when you walk out of there, when y'all are finished, the problem is gone.
Correct. That's exactly right.
Yeah. And so some of you operators out there, y'all need to pay attention to this, because what happens is, and a lot of people don't understand this, you have some liability involved. No matter how you move this stuff, how you dispose of it, you have some liability. So instead of bringing consultants out there, you probably want to bring somebody who can actually fix it. And this is a bit rare in the environmental space in the oil and gas industry. Now let's talk a little bit about your saltwater remediation, because that's huge right now.
Yep, saltwater is probably the biggest environmental problem in the world. Not just oil and gas, just from irrigation, from saline waters. It's really a global issue, but it's certainly an issue in the oil and gas business.
Yeah, and so I know this for a fact. Anytime there's a saltwater spill, most of the time it's solved by people basically hauling off the contaminated soil, and that's expensive. And once again, you still have liability. Y'all don't do that.
Now, dig and haul might cost $1 million an acre, and there's nearly always a better solution. I mean, it's possible if it's a little bitty site, maybe that's okay to do. Maybe it makes sense, but rarely is that the right thing to do cost-wise.
Right. And so what y'all do, y'all are able to actually treat the soil without removing the soil.
That's correct. We treat it in situ. What we do is not magic. This is not particularly new technology. It's understood that you can leach out the salts, and you can collect them and dispose of the salts or the sodium or the chloride. That can be done. There's different chemicals to do that. Historically, the people have used gypsum. The problem with gypsum is it might take 50 years to work. Right. So we have a liquid amendment that you can put on the soil, leaches the soil out, and you can remediate a site in a few days, or if it's an old historical site, it may take a year or so. It depends on how bad it is, but certainly can do that without digging it up.
Yeah, and because you're not digging it up, it's actually much more cost effective.
Well, it's a hell of a lot more cost effective. You know, you might be, if it's $1 million an acre to dig it up, you might fix it for $10,000 or $50,000 an acre if you do it on site. Plus, you haven't destroyed the land. You haven't put a product on the road, and you not have the potential liability of hauling dirt down the road. Plus, it's done. Usually the landowner likes it better, the operator likes it better, and certainly the guy paying for the operation likes it better.
Yeah, and in today's low crude environment, every penny you can save is a penny you need to keep in your pocket. And here's a great way to save it with somebody that's been in the industry since the late 60s. So if somebody wanted to learn more about what you and your company does, where should they go?
Well, we have a little website, SOS Enviromental. It's not fancy, but it's sufficient.
Yeah, folks, we'll stick a link in the show notes so you don't need to be writing notes. Well, Hewitt, thank you so much for your time today.
Appreciate it. Thank you, Mark.
Yeah, folks, I hope this helped. We will see you next time.